Alright, guys. We've got Hero for T1 in the bottom left side of the map. His opponent in the top right, it is Streamer Zone's Nightmare. It's a PvP for the ages, a best of 3 in PvP, guys. It's knifey spoony at its finest. It is one of the most brutal matches. If you want to see two guys with shivs climb into a phone booth and just start having a bit of a stabby stab, it is a cramped and claustrophobic affair. For those who don't know, if you want a real-life sport analogy to what you're about to see in this best of 3, pause the video, pause the stream, or mute it, open a tab. I want you to Google right now, car jiu-jitsu. Just search up car jitsu, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but car jitsu. Watch like 2 minutes or like a highlight reel of some tournaments of that. It's literally jiu-jitsu, but they both start in the front seat of the car. And often it's decided, they also do the back seat as well, actually. They do different rounds where they start in different seats. Like, a whole bunch of it is often decided by if you can block the other guy from unplugging his seatbelt. Because then he's literally just stuck. So, like, at the start, they both just try to grab each other's hands, and if you can stop the other guy from getting his seatbelt off quickly, it's, like, game over. And that is Korean PvP when Hero and Nightmare are playing, man. Either player could all in at any moment. And yet, surprisingly, I've cursed it, guys. I mean, the European Protoss players are loving it because they're like, oh, they're both playing safe sentry expands. Optimal safe macro play. But all the people who wanted to see dumb proxies, which I was setting this up for, and crazy all-ins and 4 gates, we're all sitting here shaking our heads in disappointment because they're both playing sentries. Nightmare does go sentry stalker, a bit more standard, whilst there's a single adept for Hero. He does get that pylon block down at the last second. The stalker could be used to break it. Notice he doesn't reveal the stalker. Pylon only has limited vision while it's still building. It's going to be really interesting. All right, Nexus does go up on the natural there. I'm a big fan of very niche sporting events, guys. Once in a while, I'll just go on a bit of a binge. You know, you watch some World Chase Tag. Watch some watch some Kajitsu. Watch guys compete to see who can crack more watermelons by headbutting them. You know, just all the serious events. 3 sentries, 1 stalker. Out for Nightmare. Hero's been a little bit greedier on the ground unit production in that he's down 1, but he squeezed that Robo in. So it's Robo against Twilight, which means Hero's going to have a massively delayed blink, but he could do like a quick Prism to get some Adepts in. He can go for an Immortal Sentry push. And, of course, very popular off a Robo first is build a few Immortals, add your own Twilight, and then do a Glaive Adept Immortal timing attack, which can be very, very powerful. Phoenix is going to fly through the main. Chat says PvP is probably the best mirror matchup to watch. Oh, you think that? I'm not sure you've seen Max Pax versus Showtime before. Right. And game 1, it's Phoenix versus Phoenix. Game 2, it's going to be Phoenix versus Phoenix. Game 3, one of them has built slightly more Phoenix than the other player's Phoenix. To be fair, there is more proxies in the current meta. But Hero and Nightmare, Korean players in general do like to just throw the kitchen sink at each other and try to kill each other. I think the previous meta, before this current season, 2 seasons ago, when was it that they got rid of battery overcharge? Two seasons ago? Quite a long time ago. Back on that one gate expand was much safer. Oh, I like this move, guys. He's going to hallucinate probes to go see if there's any pylons around. If you move out with your army, it's a bit dangerous. But look at that. He's looking for pylons. And he actually sees 2 adepts come in. Hero! Oh, that's so clever, man. I love that. That's so slick. Sends 4 sentries and Immortals forward, 4 stalkers back. It's a pretty committed poke forward here for Hero. He's going to go look to cancel the 3rd, and Nightmare's building a 3rd! Oh, there's no way that's ready. He sends a Colossus forward. It's a hallucination orgy right now, guys. Oh, this is going to get nasty. The Adepts will go across the map. Hero's walked into of his own Adepts, which should take care of it. And he's got a Warp Prism, not to mention the sentries. The force fields are not bad for him. Oh, he gets 3 stalkers before the blink can finish. Just seconds before the blink could finish. And you can see this was perfectly calculated for Hero. He only loses 2 probes at home, gets rid of the Adepts. He'll take out the battery. It does cancel at the last second, so at least Nightmare gets a partial refund. There's just no way to defend this 3rd base. You've played 2 gate. Your blink is kicked in only after you've lost 3 stalkers and 2 Adepts. And that's an easy cancel on the 3rd base. Hero now builds his Twilight Council as 3rd. Probes on up. I do love the Robo builds, guys. I think Robo builds are kind of awesome right now because it just has these narrow windows where obviously if you miss those windows, Blink can take over and it is the most well-rounded play if you can avoid getting hit by any of these sharp timings, but as it is, I think Hero builds a nice lead for himself, and he could even just play Blink, add a Forge, play a very standard game. He's going to take a third on the left side, where it's less likelihood of Hero spotting that and getting another cancel. And Hero is going to go for 3 base Glaive Adept Immortal. Yep, very nice. Very nice. I was saying he could either do a quick Immortal Sentry push, or he could do a Glaive Adept all-in. I love that Hero is like, I can do both. It's a 3 base Adept Immortal all-in. That's so nasty, man. Have you seen Maijitsu? It's, oh no, Majitsu. It's Magic the Gathering and Jiu-Jitsu, and they alternate between Jiu-Jitsu and playing Magic cards. No! I gotta look that up. That sounds amazing. Ooh, good move for Nightmare, as long as he can get the high ground vision so he can blink up. Oh, nice move! Yeah, but the Immortal's gonna pop and ruin his day. Oh, and he even drops 2 Immortals on the high ground. Oh no, he's gonna lose all of his Stalkers for just 4 probes, and that is brutal. Can't be affording to lose that right now. Yeah, chess boxing has inspired some proper travesties. I love it. Like, a game decided by IQ, strategy, and pattern recognition, alternated with giving the other guy concussions. Stalker's taking some damage. Nightmare's got to really find something slick here. Force fields do not get broken by hallucinations. Good force fields up front. Prism can only pick up so many of those at once, but with Glaive Adept's finish, they're going to tank really nicely, and those 4 Immortals. If Hero can just force a fight, like with nowhere for these Stalkers to retreat to, it's pretty much lights out. I think if Nightmare pivoted to an early Disruptor instead of the +1, he maybe could have turned this around with like a surprise Disruptor shot coming out and landing in the middle of this. Hero's micro is pretty good, so obviously that would be a pretty big long shot. He's getting pushed over to the right side, which means he's not going to be at the shield batteries there. Sentries come in from the left, but fighting on their own, those sentries will get overwhelmed. Those 4 Immortals are just too much, I think, man. The Adepts not armored, so the Stalkers don't do bonus damage, and those Immortals doing 50 damage a shot to the Stalkers. Absolute brutality. The Warp Prism tries to come forward. Nightmare's going to have to tap out here. Nightmare plays solid, standard. And Hero, of course, says, how about some Robo opening? Beautiful Probe Scout hallucination to catch the Adepts. Gets over there with the Adept Immortal Sentry Scoop. Grabs a few Stalkers, cancels the third, follows up with Glaive Adepts. A textbook game 1 for Hero. All right, guys, nice game 1 there for Hero with the Robo. We've got Nightmare in the top left now. Hero sends a probe across really early, and he sends a second probe out. Wow. Okay, this is normally if your opponent probe scouts you, you assume they're playing a bit more of a defensive build, but Hero is willing to sacrifice a huge amount of minerals to disguise the fact that he's proxying over here. And Nightmare might let his guard down and skip the shield battery. And you need a very fast shield battery to defend the Oracle that's going to come out of this. Nightmare himself is trying to scare Hero by hiding a pylon, but not actually committing to a proxy. Whereas Hero is straight up going all out while being a bit of a nuisance in the back with the probe raz. It's a lot of minerals down in this situation. If Nightmare had scouted, he could have told that the probe count was down a little bit more than it should have been. Hard to spot 1 less probe, but you can spot it if you train for it. Many years ago, when I was working with the Alpha X guys, we were trying to figure out how to beat Parting consistently in PvP, because he would just cheese every game and do crazy builds like this. And I literally was like, if you can consistently realize he's missing a probe in his base, because he'd do this sort of move that Hero's doing so much, then you can massively raise your win rate versus him. But you need to like memorize probe timings and like be really detail oriented at like looking at their mineral line and realizing one's missing. It's really hard to do. But I was like, hey, if you're a pro gamer, I think you could do this. Oracle's on the way. Nightmare's gone Stargate. Ooh, not the best micro Hero. He didn't move it forward right after shooting, so it does escape. Hero's probe goes down there, trying to return home. Nightmare's going to run up with 2 Stalkers. Battery to wall off, a good choice here for Hero. Does trade some shots. With the shield batteries coming up, he should be A-okay. There is no shield battery in the main. There is no Stalkers at home. These Stalkers are on the map. And he's thinking, whoa, I'm dealing with an Adept. This is good. But right now, we know the real problem. The Oracle is coming. The Stalkers are too far out on the map. And this Oracle may end this opening best of 3 before it's even had time to get started. 3 probes is massive. 6 probes is potentially game ending. And of course, he's going to get 7 probes, 8 probes in mining time. That is absolutely devastating. The Oracle even survives. The Phoenix might catch it, but can always recall that to save it. Phoenix is going to have trouble finding it as it goes to the top right corner. Like I said, this is one of those all-ins. Most players won't do this. It's a Nightmare just kind of was on autopilot, which, I mean, you know, nine times out of 10, if someone probe scouts you that early, they're doing an expand build. And he didn't realize. When he got over there and saw no Nexus, he should have immediately recalled some Stalkers. I think that was the tell. It's pretty hard to be thinking about that in the moment, but it does get caught out. Twilight Council coming in now for Hero, guys. He's going to play a bit more standard here. His Nexus is a bit later. Do you think Nightmare can catch back up? Making Sentry Stalk. The problem is he doesn't have a Twilight Council of his own. Heroes is already almost finished. But I think Chronoing Probes is the correct call. As long as Nightmare does not miss a beat on those probes. He's going to close the gap decently. He'll still be behind, of course, in terms of material. The Oracle could come in for follow-up damage. Twilight Council now starts. If Nightmare could make a comeback from here, that would be very impressive. Remember, guys, Nightmare qualified for this tournament with a massive upset over Rogue. He was down 0-2. And he reversaled Rogue in a best-of-5 qualifying match. Had some of the best PvZ, ground-based build orders I've seen in a while. Lots of Twilight and Robo openings. Lots of tricky builds. Finished him off with a really slick blink timing. Oracle comes in. Phoenix disables one of the Stalkers. That combo move, man. Oh my gosh, and he gets 6 more probes because 2 Stalkers would have shut that down, but the Phoenix disables one of them. The Oracle's, if he recalls that Oracle and saves it as well, wouldn't that be crazy? He's going to run to the right side so the Stalkers can shimmy away the Phoenix there. Nightmare looked so good in his PvZ, but of course StarCraft 2 is a brutal mistress. You might be in the best PvZ form of your entire career, and then you're going to get matched with Hero in the first round of Group C. It is only a best of 3, so if Hero wins this map, he speedruns his way to the winner's match. Reynor and Cure, of course, will be playing in our second match here in Group C. Nightmare's army supply is a bit down, and of course, Blink is about to finish. Moving out to kill this, he does hallucinate some Stalkers. Hero could just dive into that natural and start killing probes if he wants to punish him here. And a bit of a dangerous move out will get punished. Hero's going to move up that ramp. Oh, he's going to try and depower, is he? Does take out the sentry just beforehand. Depowers the 2 gateways. There's only 1 gateway left in the main. Hero putting himself in a bit of a compromised position, but he blinks forward. He wants to get to the safety of the stasis trap. Stasis trap freezes 3 of the units. The Phoenix will come in and pick up 2 of those. I don't even know where that second Phoenix is. I guess it's on top of one of those Stalkers. But another stasis trap goes down, freezing a lot of the probes. The Phoenix as well could take some big damage. Hero did just attack his own sentry for a moment there. But his own Phoenix comes in, wins the Phoenix battle. The Stalkers overwhelm. And it's just, it's a classic trick, which Parting, like I said, used to do this so much. Hero brings it out. And it's just one of the most annoying things. If you haven't played against someone who's willing to probe scout early and build a proxy, it's insane. Because against this build, I am telling you guys, against this build, if you play safe, if you actually build a shield battery, you're so far. It's such a massive amount of minerals that Hero sacrifices to do this trick. But it pays off big time. If Nightmare had just instantly recalled those Stalkers, I think he's fine. I think he's actually like in a good spot in this game. And I think he had time for it. Let me just double check. Like I said, he gets this probe, which is good. And I think he needs to make the call right now. Hard to do, but if he made that call right now, no Nexus, and he just goes, whoop, snap recall, he's actually completely fine. Because he gets 2 probe kills. Hero's massively committed to this crazy proxy and stuff. Doesn't have an expansion up himself. Later on, after you defend the Oracle, you can move out and depower this Stargate, and then you're miles ahead as Nightmare. It's a big gamble for Hero, but Nightmare, seeing no Nexus, did not make the correct read. Alright, guys. It's time. Group C's second match. Cure in the top left, Reynor in the bottom right, Basilisk Zerg against Team Liquid Terran. Well, that seems like something we see a lot of, isn't it? Cure hasn't been able to take too many recent series off of Reynor. I think since the 8 racks got weakened, his TVZ has taken a step backwards. But what I'm really curious to see is Cure willing to play mech. And I also wonder if we're going to see a meta shift, because in the last weeks, Maru has reestablished himself as the god of Ghost Mech. He has said, guess what? If I open Bio, if I open Mech, it doesn't matter. If I open Mech, I'll add ghosts and upgrades for those ghosts as the game goes on. If I play Bio, once I get to 4 bases and start building lots of command centers, I'll go double armory, and I'll go for 3/3 tanks and Hellbats. And, you know, REYNOR, I believe his words were, oh god, Maru remembered that you can just turtle and you don't have to A-move on creep and get destroyed by Zerg players. Oh no. You know, REYNOR was like, oh god, one of them figured it out. They can just camp. And to be fair, Maru's been the king of camping for years. Are other players able to emulate it? Will they even try to emulate that style? You guys let me know what you think. I have a feeling Q is not going to be able to. And is going to stick more to like 3-base timing attacks, 4-base tempo plays with like, you know, maybe biolib. Try to avoid going ghosts because the ghost stage is very difficult to play for the Terran. And it's one of these interesting things where obviously Clem looks just so absolutely obscene with the 125 hit point ghosts roaming the map and sieging libs and mines everywhere. But tough to get that going. A 2-base tank push is still viable. If your name's Beyond, the 2-base tank push will never not be viable. I'm not sure about these maps. Are they the best for it? I don't know if there's any amazing spots for a 2-base tank push on this map pool. I remember like Data C was kind of peak 2-base tank push meta where Beyond was using it so much. And Beyond will always find a way to make it pretty good, but he also transitions off of it into a macro game while making things very awkward for the Zerg. And I think Beyond does that like really well. If you watch him versus Solar, they have a few different times where that happens. Nice extractor trick early on. This was a 15-15 opening, guys, so REYNOR's playing a little bit more of a contained opening. Doesn't go for the quick third, of course, with this, but he gets very early queens, which defend the Reaper. Allows him to build an extra few drones early on because he's not building 4 Zerglings, and he's also got the queens out 12 seconds earlier than normal, which not only defends the Reaper, it means these injects are 12 seconds faster. So he should be able to saturate his natural earlier than with any other possible build, and he's going to go there and Roach Warren. Now, Solar showed us yesterday, as well as Shin earlier in the week, there is a Korean version of this build where you play Ling Speed, and you show a few Zerglings, and they assume you're playing 2-base Muta, and then you just shove with Roach Speed and kill them. And it's the Korean version of the Elaser build is amazing, whereas this is the pure Elaser build. No Ling Speed. Ooh, he does lose a drone, but I think that's fine. I think if you get the Reaper, you're not too worried about that as REYNOR. And Overlord Speed comes in. No second and third gas, guys. Chat saying it's the Elaser, but aren't you meant to have 3 gases with this? Okay, he adds them now. And still pretty quick. Third hatchery will be going down shortly. The Overlord Speed is the Queen drop. Is the Queen drop the Elaser version? I saw Serral do this first in a tournament. Recently, though, we've seen a lot of Zergs kind of screw this up, where they start Queen dropping, and they kind of tunnel vision on it, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's a bit trolly. Like, Shin was doing this, and it kind of felt like he was trolling a little bit. It could just be to get Overlord Speed and an Overseer to bust. No, I don't think this is a bust, is it? No, this is the macro build. This is like a 12 Roach push. He only makes... So the way this build works, chat's disagreeing with me. This is not a bust. No, you build like 12 Roaches, you attack, you try to kill some stuff, and you go speed. I mean, it does help with the Overseer as well, but you're meant to bring 2 Queens across and a Drop-a-Lord and drop creep, aren't you? Or is he not going to go? No, he's not going to go for that. Okay, chat wins. They were right. I was totally wrong. Infestation Pit and Evo Chamber goes down. He's just going to go Carapace into Infestors and Hive. Okay, all right. I've seen so many people go drop creep forward on this map recently and try to contain. Serral did it really well. Shin did it not as well. He kind of got caught in the middle of trying to do it when he was playing Bunny the other day. If it's a Banshee opening, then Elaser will go all in off of this build. Guys, this is the problem, man. Elaser's never... his stream finishes when I wake up, I swear. I got to tune into more Elaser stream. My chat's telling me the exact details of this opening. This is apparently the Elaser build. I know Elaser and sort of have been kind of, I would say pushing the edge of what Zerg openings can do. We've seen the 15 hatch 17 pool before gas build order as a really interesting mix-up as well recently. Infestors on the way. Carapace, Roach Speed. Third base is drone, and Cure goes for the empty Medevac Scout. I love this move. Look at that. And he's building way more Roaches, because REYNOR's like, oh! He thinks there's 16 Marines in there. He doesn't even know. Overseer's going to come in. Does he contaminate? Oh, he lets the tank pot. Oh, he contaminates shields. I think the eBay is usually the highest value contaminate, or the factory. It goes for the shields, because the problem is there's nothing that comes out after the shields, unless you're really worried about this initial shields timing. That gives you no long-term value. All this gives you is the short-term value of delaying a potential combat shields push. Doesn't mean that's bad, it just means it has that a much more narrow utility. Reynor's worker count kind of sucks, and he's only got 1 Infestor. I think if he had 2 Infestors out, I'd feel a bit better about his position, because I think Infestor energy often allows you to make up for having even sometimes a lower economy than the Terran if you can land some good fungals. And he's obviously got fantastic tech timings, and this is where this style of build order, it kind of turns standard TVZ logic on its head. So normally, Zerg wants to be ahead in drones a fair bit and willing to trade inefficiently. With this style, you actually want to trade more efficiently than Terran. They haven't really traded just yet, but this number, you actually want to out-trade the Terran. At least break even, and try to be even trading until you get up to the late game. If it gets to late game, obviously it'll go back to the standard sort of thing where Zerg has to make a lot of banelings and start being inefficient, but have a lot more bases and drones. But for the moment, it's all about the efficiency. Ultra Cavern's on the way. Where are the Infestors? Right there in the mineral line. It's got plenty... Yeah, 6 roaches in the main. You can't really unload on that. Ultra Cavern, +2 carapace. No second Evo. And only 67 workers. 4th base only halfway built. 3 more barracks, concussive shells, lots of marauders coming in. He's already got 2 barracks on marauders very early, which I love because he knows the early ultra timing coming out. And you know what, guys? He's building 6 medevacs. I think if you go libs after these 2 medevacs, Reynor really struggles in this game. Yeah, you've got Ravagers, but Ravagers are not as great against libs as other things. Often you have to go into the lib zone with the Ravagers to throw the vials, and sometimes the libs can even dodge them. I do love that this build order forces the game to be so different, though, stylistically. Second Evo chamber comes up for Reynor. Ooh, nice drop. Yeah, Kua can fight this. Should be stimming. Not all of the Marines stimmed. He does a second stim there. Those roaches are going to get smashed. A few drones go down as well. Oh, adrenal glands will go down. Oh, that's a nice snipe. Juicy. Very juicy. Around 67 Zerglings on this map. These lings... only got carapace against 1-1. It's a good fight for Kua. Kua doesn't even try to stutter step. He's just like, whatevs, man. That's good enough for me. Remember what I was saying about efficiency, guys? Kua's actually out-trading Reynor significantly. None of these was a giant battle. These are still good. Very good for Kua. 4th command center comes up. Sensor tower 2-2's on the way as well. No creep on this side. These Infestors. Oh, if he's caught not looking and the Marines stim on this, I would just click on that with the Marines, man. Chuck a Clem, just sacrifice 5 Marines, either baiting fungals or maybe getting an Infestor snipe. Where's the 4th command center, guys? It's landed. Mass Marauder production coming out. 3 at a time right now, but he can build 5 Marauders at a time. 2 carapace kicks in before the 2-2 of Terran, but the melee quite far behind. Nothing covering this main. He's got an Overlord, but it's not even spotting the very edge. That's a bit of an issue. Changeling does get spotted on the Zerg side, on the Terran side of the map. Drop sneaks into the main. Luckily, there's an Ultralisk right there, and those Marines have to leave. You do not want to play hungry hippos with the Ultralisk with a pack of Marines. Adrenal has been restarted. Oh! I'm so sorry, guys. He ambushed him. I didn't think he was going to ambush him there. Great pickup save. Oh, I'm so sorry for the observing. The Lings come in, but they're not going to be able to kill that much. That was an amazing save. Because guess what? The Infestors both died. And I think there's enough Marauders to kite this down. Reynor overcommitting right now. Reynor may have got a good fungal, but he didn't have the chain to catch them. I will be rewinding that fight at the end of this game. Normally, I'm pretty decent on the observing, but yeah, we missed that one. Reynor just got baited into overcommitting, loses his 3rd base. And that is nasty. Reynor not having a smooth game here, man. Played a bit too careful, a bit too overly safe. And ended up here getting ran over. A really calm play for Kua. And I feel like this build order, I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but this build order might actually not be the right style to be playing here as Reynor. Because it slows the game down a lot, and Q is really good in a slow game, and you should be looking to speed the game up, not slow it down. So, the Lings go past. The Infestors waddle it. Oh, this is sloppy. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this was a mistake. He stumbled into the army, not even looking. So it wasn't even an ambush. It was literally he moved commanded into the Terran with the Infestus at the front of his army, barely got one fungal off. That was a disastrous game for REYNOR, guys. No ifs or buts about it. All right, guys. Is REYNOR about to get Liberator wrecked on Winter Madness and 2-0'd into the lower bracket of the group stage? I do not know. Remember, if you lose even one series in the group stage, even if you end up qualifying through the playoffs, you're going to be in the losers bracket of the playoffs as well. So winning this match is important because it keeps your chance of speedrunning the playoffs to the semis alive. Barracks gas comes in. Hatchery goes down. Standard 16 hatchery this time around. No 15-15 build orders. I don't mind the 15-15 build orders. But I think REYNOR could have been perhaps a bit more kind of calm and controlled there with it. And I just feel like his droning was a little bit slow. I think that the real 300 IQ move for Cure was the double empty medevac drop. So he was actually playing really safe, leaving everything at home, but that prompted REYNOR to build like 7-8 more roaches when he really wanted to be droning. And I get it. I mean, you don't want to defend on just nine roaches and 4 queens, right? That's way too minimalistic on the defense. He definitely needed to build more, but did feel like maybe REYNOR could have squeezed an Infestor or 2 out a little earlier. Maybe got his drone count up a bit more and maybe focused a bit more on securing a 4th and just playing ultra defensive and wait for Cure to move out. And I mean, Cure did just stumble out onto the map, and if he was watching and actually landed chain fungals on that army, he kind of just gets a free win, right? Like, imagine if he's watching, he just throws one big fungal in the middle of that bio, pulls the Infestors back, and then he just chains it. He's got 4 fungals. Cure can't escape. He's losing at least like 40 supply of bio. And then REYNOR can just hold the drone key down and go to late game, eventually add a Spire and a Baneling Nest, you know, so it becomes Ultra Lingbane Corruptor. Still got 2 Infestors from the early stage that are gaining energy. I mean, that's an excellent position for Zerg to be in. Now, here's the modern tip, guys. I actually think if you're a top-tier Zerg, it might be better to take this 3rd first. Because if you take that 3rd first, you get a really easy 4th, and then you're not exposed to the base on the left that is very weak to the Liberators. Of course, if REYNOR plays Roaches, he's safe against it. Roach builds are pretty solid right now. Does the winner play Hero? Yeah, Hero 1-2-0 in the opening match. So winner plays him, loser plays against Nightmare. We do the losers match first, which is another best of 3, and then we do, of course, winners match and the final deciders match between the loser of the winners match and the winner of the losers match. Third command center build here for Cure. Nice, standard, solid play. That last game, he didn't have to do anything too crazy. The pace was really slow, and Cure just played a very nice tactical game and waited for REYNOR to kind of trip over his own feet. I think you know, as REYNOR, you want there to be as much multitasking as possible when you're playing Cure. As Cure, you want the game to be as slow as possible. Like, if REYNOR played Roach, Hydra, Lurker, Viper, it's a rare style in this matchup, but it's not a bad one. I think it would be a terrible choice against Cure because that basically makes it like a mech v mech matchup where Terran has like tanks and libs, Zerg has Vipers and Lurkers, and it's like slow and positional. And that's going to play to the strengths of Cure, who realistically, I'd say he might be better build order and strategy-wise than REYNOR. It's just hard to say because REYNOR destroys him with multitasking almost every time they play. There are wins in there for Cure, especially back on when 8 racks was really more powerful before this current patch. But on this patch, he doesn't have the power of the 8 racks, which means REYNOR shouldn't be as afraid. We'll see what Cure's plan is for finishing the game. I was expecting heavy 8 racks Marauder on 4 base, something like that last game. But how does he actually push and try to finish the game against a REYNOR who has such a big toolkit right now? There are those Hydra builds you got to worry about, where you open heavy Hydras, get a few Infestors, then go up to Hive. There's, you know, the Lingbane into Lurker, Lingbane Muta. You've got all these variations of Roach openings that transition into Lingbane and Hive Tech pretty fast. What made the 8 racks not exist? The Banelings got +5 hit points, and that was the main thing that was, as well as some of the map design, that was scaring Zergs, is they felt like they couldn't defend an 8 racks with Banelings, with the Baneling hit points being a bit too low. Even when they opened with Roach Ravager first, the Baneling transition was a little bit weak. Hellions found themselves a creep tune, but no serious damage just yet. And as you can see, 2nd and 3rd barracks, 4th gas, double engineering bait, really standard stuff here. Banshee comes in, that Spore Crawler is heinously late. As it so commonly is for REYNOR, this is a mistake REYNOR's made a lot recently, but Reynor has Reynor reaction speed. So is it really that big of a mistake? Especially when your opponent has skipped cloak. Cure. Oh, he shifted an A move. He should have shift-clicked that on a move command, but he shift-clicked an A move. I think he thought he'd clicked further away to here. Banshee turns around, throws itself away for nothing. Bad start there for Cure. For those who don't know, the +5 hit points on the Banelings, it's when Baneling speed kicks in, is when that upgrade, is when that +5 hit points kicks in. That was added to the game, I think in, 2016, 2017, something like that? I'm not sure the exact time they added that +5 hit points, but then they just took it away like a year and a half ago, and then they've returned it now. Tanks, Marines building, 1-1 upgrades on the way, 5 barracks going. Solid setup for Cure. Losing a Banshee is not the end of the world. 5th base goes up at the front. Guys, we're seeing multiple players not abuse this lib spot, and no Zerg is playing Roaches on this map. We saw this yesterday as well, where Percival completely forgot to build a lib and sneak it over here. Beyond, on the other hand, got a Liberator over here like 4 minutes into the game we saw him play last week. And just, there's no chance to mine off this base because the Liberator comes in from behind and zones it out, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Things getting in. Hey Pig, is your Bronze to Jam still relevant? 100%. You can watch the 2021 Bronze to Jam or the 2023. They all are just all about the fundamentals. Fundamentals never really change in StarCraft. There are a lot of patch changes that affect pro play, but even it's quite subtle. You know, it affects the meta quite a lot in terms of how the players play, but it doesn't affect anything for average Joes. Ooh, another Banshee goes down. This is really bad for Cure, man. His creep's getting dangerously far forward. He feels the pressure. He's got to stop that creep advance. I don't know if he's seriously pushing here, but he at least needs to hold a position, deny the creep, and create some pressure on Reynor. Reynor's on 89 workers. Reynor, calm down, bro. 89? He's building the double spore to stop libs getting by that left side. Already has one in the mineral line itself. I think that's too high on workers. He can always give up the base and transfer to the right, but I'm going to try to hang on to it. Queens are there, along with the Ling Bane. Where's the armory? Armory is finished. 2-2 has not begun. The upgrade advantage slipping away a little bit for Cure. Snips the edge of the creep off there. Finally starts his 2-2. 4th command center is already on the way as well. It's a pretty quick 8 barracks. No second factory though, so it's a very biocentric play for Cure. Hellions are here. He's got to be careful. The Ling Bane's waiting. Reynor's waiting to see him move out, and then he either jumps on it or he counterattacks. I think he's going to counterattack into the natural and third. There is Sergeant Chadhammer's guarding the high ground, so Cure does leave one little piece of insurance, but only one. The Ling Bane also could just cut off the reinforcement and then look to flank this position. Okay, he's going to go... I think he should go up the ramp. Okay, he's going to come in and cut off the reinforcement. Q is committing in though, and now that he's down the ramp, you kind of have to come around this very left side to really sandwich him. So Reynor should bring these units, half of them to here, half to here, and then he can trap him. A few Banelings roll forward, tries to get a few of the Marines without committing his whole force. Reynor can surround this from 3 sides. This army's isolated deep in Zerg territory. He's trying to force some mistakes here out of Reynor. But Reynor, I think, should realize that this left side is key. Uh-oh. He's not in position for it. 2 more drones go down. The gas will fall to the tank. He's got a big army flanking, does Reynor. But he's got to cut him off from all sides. You do not want to be chasing around this corner and this corner while the Marines retreat into this area. And Reynor does split a good section of units to that side, but the hatchery's running out of hit points. Reynor's going to have to get down there sooner rather than later, and he's going for it! It's a 3-pronged surround. The units on the right side a little bit slow to the party, but that's okay. The units on the left were the most important, and that's a lovely cleanup. Maintains an 85 worker economy. Cure immediately redrops. Reynor realizes that's a threat, and he does split his army accordingly. 3 Vipers on the way, as well as 3 Evo Chambers going 3-3-3 upgrades. Love to see such nice upgrades for Reynor. He is absolutely rich. Q is still on 69 workers, and now he's down on supplies significantly. Reynor will even take out one of those full medevacs. The 4th base only now slowly erecting itself. Remember, he's only got 1 factory producing I say that, and he's building Widow Mines now, not Siege Tanks. So it's just an 8 racks bio mine play. Cure wants to roll over him with the kind of big momentum style. Problem with that is you need an edge early. And Reynor is one of the greediest Zergs in the world. The way this game is going is really good for Reynor, because Q has tried to play a relatively generic build-up, Hellion, no Cloak Banshee, but he didn't find enough damage with it. Reynor's gotten ahead, And if you want to play this sort of style, you need a good start for this to work. If you get a good start, that's nice. But how do you engineer a good start as Kua? How do you try to leverage the early game in your favor? Because now he is playing a massive uphill battle here in game 2. Some would say it's already game over at this point. I would disagree. I don't think it's game over. Remember, guys, REYNOR is a Zerg player. Zerg players are famous for chucking a Zerg. It's where you find your opponent's most well-defended choke point, you cram your army into it and throw away a lead, where pretty much any other decision would allow you to win the game. I honestly don't see REYNOR making that decision, but there's always a chance. The Vipers run in. They get some nice blinding clouds, but the Widow Mines do get on top of them. Good parasitic bomb, the medevac Kua with a pretty good split. Hydra's coming forward, Planetary on the right side will clean that up. There's so many Banes getting in there. The SCV pull away is pretty nice. I think Kua held that about as well as he could have if he was maxed out. I think maybe that's a crushing fight for him. As it is, though, 2,000 resource loss deficit. That's perfectly fine for a Zerg on 6 base. REYNOR, 6 base, 85 workers. He's got lurker upgrades coming in. 3-3 melee carapace. +2 on the range is about to finish. I think he should bust this left side. Just because the planetary is such a good fallback point on the right. Hydra's coming in. He's going to pick off 2 Widow Mines before they can fire. Nice start. He's trying to morph lurkers on the front. Lings will try to run in that left side. Widow Mines are clearing a few of them. The Hydra Marauder fight is probably the most important. Zerglings get in the natural, though. Q is in trouble. Dude, the Hydraling Lurk is just trying to keep him busy right now. Meanwhile, the Ling's tearing up the natural. The SCVs finally run away. Chadham is still alive on the high ground, guarding. The Lurkers caught out of the ground for a moment. It looks like REYNOR's going to start sieging. Remember, we've talked to REYNOR recently, Thunderfire and before Thunderfire a few weeks ago about how this crucial moment when Terran doesn't have many orbitals, only 4, if you split lurkers up everywhere, there just isn't enough scans to deal with them. So you might think, oh, he's giving away lurkers for free. But remember, there's very few scans available. If he keeps doing this, Q is going to run out of scans and it's checkmate. Fortunately, he doesn't have high ground vision on that left side. Viper's here looking for an abduct. Grabs one of the libs. Hydras will be able to push through the second one as that one gets abducted as well. Lings are engaging into the bio. Perhaps a little sloppily there for REYNOR, but that orbital is burning. How can you sleep while the orbital's burning, guys? The orbital will be going down if he's not careful. The Hydras, I'd love to see REYNOR focus that. That lurker on the left side is going to go down. Nice cleanup there for Kua. But Kua is dangerously low on scans, guys. There's still a lurker sieging the planetary on the right. He's out of scans. He's got two scans left. He uses one here. The lurkers and Hydras pull back, reburrow. Still got a lurker on that right side. And this is where it's pretty much checkmate, because now he's got another lurker on the left, and there's just not enough scans to clean up the whole thing, man. That's his last scan for now. Ling Hydra comes in, and REYNOR, I love the way he's recognizing the real power of the lurkers here. It's so cool to see something just put into action so quickly after it's become a present thing in the meta, because we kept seeing this pattern where Terran would barely defend, because the Zerg would group all their lurkers in one area, and if Terran could delay that push, they'd be good, but these lurkers, look at that. Coming from multiple sides, all the repairing SCVs go down. And I love the way REYNOR just kept sending 1 or 2 lurkers up the left to really punish Kua. Command center has to lift. Planetary's about to go down. Lurkers do massive damage to the planetary. I believe lurkers... You guys tell me. Does anyone know? Question here, as REYNOR ties up the series. Does the lurker get bonus damage on the planetary because multiple spikes hit it? Or does it just do a single point of damage? I'm very curious. How does that work? Someone look that one up. All right, guys. REYNOR in the top left side of the mothership. Kua in the top right. I love this map. I think it's one of the best maps we've had for the 3-player maps. What's really interesting about it, guys, is it's really hard for Terran to push some of these faraway bases because you've got to move so far from your base. On the other hand, it's near impossible for Zerg to defend some of those bases because they're so far away and you're so spread out and there's some nice ramps and ledges. And what in this matchup specifically, I just really love the way Mothership plays because the Zerg is rewarded for expanding away from the Terran into this empty base location. But if the Terran pushes it, it's quite hard to defend it. So then the Zerg often also at the same time expands up the north towards the Terran bases and kind of says, look, if you deny an edge base or 2 on one side, that's okay. I'll get the bases up on the other side and I'll be counterattacking you the whole time to take advantage of the mobility of Mutiling Bane or just Ling Bane and that sort of stuff. Of course, REYNOR could play Hydras, play a bit more of a front-on style. He could play Roach Ravager, more of a front-on style, into the Ling Bane. But I would not be surprised if he tries to sneak Mutas out. Then again, I think REYNOR thinks he should beat Kua. I think he thinks he's favored against him. He might hedge his bets and say Mutas is too risky, too many tricky Hellbat or Marine Mine type, parade pushes that could hurt me. Might just play it safe with a style that he feels is a bit higher percentage. Something like the Just like a really standard 5 Gatling Bane Hydra start, maybe. I think, is it Killer Smile who made this map, guys, in the chat? I think it's Killer Smile, right? The map maker of this map has made a lot of bangers over the last few years. Many of my favorite maps. I believe it's the same map maker that made Data Sea and a few others as well. Data, if you speak American. Data. Yeah. Killer Smile, or Killer's Mile, as I used to call them. Great map maker, really. There's a lot of good map makers, but I've thinking about this map recently has given me a real appreciation for their map making. Chat says they feel mutas. I would love to see mutas. I think it's really fun, really dynamic, and as long as you don't die to an early push, early in the mid game, I mean, it's going to be so good for Reynor's mechanical advantages over Cure. The scary thing is Reynor might feel like, well, Cure's best chance of beating me is a frontal timing attack, and mutas can be a bit weak to that. So why, you know, yeah, if I get past the scary point, it'll play to my strengths. But in the opening, it plays to his strengths and his best chances of winning against me. This is a third CC. No, it's not. Wait, it is? Where's... Oh, there. Sorry, I was just blind. I was like, wait, wasn't there a third command center? Yes, there is. Lost my brain for a little bit there. Back on gas at 3:30 with the first lava inject. Stock standard play here for Reynor. His workers aren't quite doubled up. He has 3 workers on a far patch, guys, which means he's only got 1 worker on this patch. Reynor making a little bit of an unforced error there. Reaper joined up with the Hellions. Cure, one of the more passive Hellion players a lot of the time. He's doing the same opening as the last game. He might just look at this. People are saying, oh, does Cure need to cheese to beat Reynor? Well, no, he just waited for Reynor to trip over his own build order in game 1. That last game, Reynor got away with Heinous Greed. Cure played one of the most generic build orders I've ever seen, and he threw away 2 Banshees for nothing. He cannot be affording to do that. He's playing the same build order. The only difference is he's added Cloak this time, so he's going to be slightly more committed to the Banshees, but he just needs a better start. Oh, and he's playing mech. He's playing mech. Okay. He's going to play mech. Reynor does not look great against mech. On the other hand, I do not think of Cure as much of a mech player. He just doesn't do it very often. As a result, I think he's doing it because he's seen Reynor look a bit tilted against mech, against Maru, and we will see. Do you guys think he goes 2nd and 3rd factory or double armory? I think double armory is stupidly greedy, but Reynor doesn't overseer scout much, so you can probably get away with him not realizing. I think 2nd and 3rd factory first is a little bit more solid. It'll start with a Hellion Banshee mech, and he'll probably get a couple Cyclones, but I imagine it's going to be traditional mech, because Maru's had great success with trad mech recently. Oh no! The Banshee just came in and died, guys! Before Cloak was even done. Cure, what are we doing, mate? You've got to be playing your best StarCraft to beat Reynor. You can't be giving him edges like that. Flies a Banshee in and just gets it killed. Absolute disastrous. Look at him, his lips have disappeared. You can always tell when a pro gamer is feeling a bit of stress. When their lips disappear, they start sucking in their lips a little bit, going, you know, there's that sharp inhale of breath. Not many Zerglings, though. Ooh, has Reynor been a little bit too greedy? Only 1 Hellion goes down on the way in. Another one does fall, but that's still 5 Hellions. More than enough to one-shot. Great Evo Chamber. Oh, he traps him with the Evo Chamber. Reynor says, you're trapped in here with me, buddy. Oh, my lord, that was very nice. Only 3 drones. The Hellion map control's gone. Cure's opening has been completely shut down. And honestly, if Reynor looks and sees 4 more Hellions and 2 more Banshees, he should know this is mech. He even looked over here, but I don't know if he registered mentally what's going on, because there's no Roachhorn. He might feel he's actually had such a good start. He can play straight 80 drone, Mutiling Bane, or Hydraling Bane. Recently, Shin showed that Mutiling Bane actually is not bad against mech as long as your opponent doesn't know it's coming ahead of time. And you can go straight to Ultras off of that. He had a great game where he was actually mauling Maru on Enclave, one of the better mech maps. And that was a really close game, which I think Shin himself said, I definitely should have won that game. Fifth base coming up in the north. I don't like this as the first fifth. I think you should expand down south. But I guess if you're playing... You're worried about Blue Flame Hellions, maybe? He is going to play Mutiling Bane. I mean, he has to know it's mech. So Reynor is going to be inspired by Shin to play Mutiling Bane. I think this is great if the Terran's not thinking about it. It's not on their radar. They think, oh, no one plays mutas against mech. That's crazy. Mech, you know, Thors and Widowmines destroy mutas. The thing is, the Mutas have great mobility, and if you've got a giant economy lead, which REYNOR will have, he's at 7 minutes 15, guys. And look at his worker count. 720. As these 7 drones pop, I guess it'll be, what, 7? I'm benchmarking it. 87 workers at 725. That is absolutely heinous. And oh my gosh, he's going to get surrounded again. Cure goes in way too deep, gets surrounded. And Cure right now, guys, I know Zerg players are low IQ. I've talked to a lot of Terrans. I've been hanging out in some Discords on my alternate accounts. I've been infiltrating the Terran community, guys, and there's a few thoughts I see repeated about Zerg players. They're low IQ, they're peasants, they're stupid. It doesn't mean you need to make donations to them. Trust me, they can feed themselves, okay, Cure? Please stop donating Hellions and Banshees. The units lost tab. 16 Hellions and a Banshee for just a bunch of Zerglings. Oh, it's a terrible start, man. This is not a bad build order. It's just bad execution for Cure and good defense for REYNOR. And I think this is just really making things far too easy for REYNOR in the build-up stage. Hellions not transforming into Hellbats. Once again getting surrounded. I mean, he's seen nothing but Zerglings, so he should be able to predict that it's Mutas. Turrets are coming down a little bit. But it's only one on the front for Tunneling Claw Roaches. Dude, he's got to realize this is 90 drone Mutas on the way. I'd love to see REYNOR go Infestation, though, for the quick ultras. Mass Muta itself is a bit of a gamble. It's well known that Terrans have 0 IQ. What are you saying, Pig? No, I didn't say I think they have 0 IQ. That's just what Terrans say. I've also been around Zergs for a long time. They say Terrans have 0 IQ. I don't know if you guys... Anyone who's new to the StarCraft community, it's basically the Spider-Man meme. The more StarCraft you play, the more you're convinced that the 2 opposing races are 0 IQ while yours is 300 IQ. It's just the way it goes, man. Only 2 Cyclones, not enough units that shoot up here. This is a disaster, man. There's just not enough units that shoot up. The Muta's diving on top. The Vikings and tanks are exposed. The Muta's absolutely just ramming him home here. REYNOR having such an excellent start. He's going double Spire. He's going to go double upgrade Mass Muta against Mech, guys. Holy mo... I mean, that's actually legitimately... Is he styling or does he actually think this is good? I haven't seen double Spire Mutas against Mech since 2014. I used to play double Spire Mutas against Mech into Swarmhosts. Muta's diving there. Going to go after the Cyclones. Can they get them? Viking's going to take some damage. He could even just focus the turret down. But for now, he's going for the mobile units. Another Cyclone falls. And this has just not been a good series for Cure. Game 1 was pretty good for him. I mean, REYNOR kind of fumbled a little bit into him, but I thought Cure had built a very nice lead. He did a lot of good moves in Game 1. Game 2 and Game 3, his openings have just not been good enough. And by the time it got to the mid-game, he is playing from so far behind that it's not even a competitive match. REYNOR is one of the best players at getting ahead, at being greedy, but Cure has given him an easy path to that advantage. Hellions and Banshees getting focused by the Mutas. There's Lings inside the base. There's Lings on the front line. The SCVs aren't mining on that 4th. And this is an absolute disaster. Planetary Fortress has no anti-air support. Once he clears the tanks, the Mutas can clear this. There's Lings on the 3rd as well. And Cure, he has to tap out. GG. I'm really hoping Cure can reset. REYNOR was the favorite going into this series. But I think Cure will be very upset with his performance. He knows he can do better than that in the opening. The first Banshee floating in here, after doing it in Game 1 as well, where he'd accidentally not shift-clicked it far enough away. That's a sort of move at this level. Pretty rare for Cure to ever do this. But look at that. Oh my lord, just shift-clicked it in the base. Just so sloppy. He wasn't watching it all. He knew the 3rd base was there as well. That's really, really sloppy and just unfortunate. Cure hopefully can shake off this and do better in the losers match because he's going to be facing off next against Nightmare in the next best of 3. Alright guys, Streamer Zone's Nightmare in the bottom right side of the map. Cure in the top left. Both players fighting for their life. It's the losers match in Group C, and yet neither of these players is losers. They're way better StarCraft players than any of us could ever even dream of. Yet they are factually, objectively losers right now in this group stage. But if they win here, they make it to the deciders match against the loser of Hero versus REYNOR, which is going to be happening next. And of course, past this best of 3, it's going to be 2 best of 5s for the qualification matches to the top 8. eBay block does get scouted pretty early. It's a good shutdown for Nightmare. And the Nexus starts quite promptly. So we go Nexus straight into Pylon on 21. Pretty crisp response. I think he's feeling pretty alright with that. Q is just going to go 1 Rax Expand behind it. We were just discussing off-race tournaments there with the live chat, and I think, yes, if you force people to play off-races and certain matchups, it's fun. If you just do random versus random in tournaments, it purely is just who gets their main race more wins, and it's not very exciting, unfortunately. Like, me and Estrella had a fun little silly rivalry of him playing, like, Terran against my, Terran or Zerg as off-races against my random. And it was like... Or actually, yeah. Or then we played random versus random a bunch. And it was fun at first, and then he just kept spawning as Protoss, like 5 out of 7 games or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is... I'm not going to beat you... Your Protoss, Australia. I think maybe we shouldn't play random versus random. 2 probes are going to go down. Oh, he's going to get a 3rd one. Oh, my lord. This is devastating damage for Nightmare, man. Oh, this is heinous damage. 4 probes at the start of the game. Guys, this may be the group of death people said. And yet, so far, this is the group of maulings. Let's be honest. This is the most one-sided start to a group stage we've had so far. People are murdering each other. Massive mistakes are happening. Nightmare cannot afford any more issues like that. Because Kira is a top-tier TVP player, and that's way too many probes to be losing this early on. Command Center's on the high ground, which I guess is a little inefficient, but the fact is, he didn't take any damage to the Adept that came across, and Nightmare finds himself in a very bad spot in this early game. A few chronos into probes would be nice. He's going to continue to chrono blink. He figures, well, I need early blink to defend things. There is a tank push out or a Widow Mine drop or whatever. Medevac going forwards. Going to be double Tech Lab behind it, so we'll probably be tanks and Ravens by the looks of things. Reaper's going to try to poke in again. Oh, look at this Reaper. Terrans have gotten so good at denying that base. Look at that. And then he lures the Stalkers out of position. Nightmare, you can't be away from there. The Adept should secure the kill. Widow Mine Drop's going to come in on the natural. You know what? Blink's ready. Oh, good. Good move. Nightmare shuts it down, dodges both with Blink, and that is why you double or even triple chrono Blink. I think he must have triple chronoed it, right, guys? In Q's mind, you're not meant to have Blink at 430. He's like, yeah, you might have it at 450, not 430. That was such a fast Blink. And I would have chronoed probes after taking economic damage, but Nightmare realized a fast Blink is such an advantage. And that should give Nightmare a bit of room to get back into this game now. After those early 4 probe losses. 3rd Nexus is on the way. And he's going to go 3rd Gas Robobay. I actually love it. I love this transition for Nightmare, guys. That's exactly what I want to see. If someone fumbles at the start, loses 4 probes for no reason, you really want the other player's next thing to fail so that you're going to get a competitive match. Raven will work its way around the left side. I still think 4 probes that early has such a big flow-on effect that I think Q is probably still ahead in this game, and the supply seems to indicate that. It's going to be 6-gate charge Colossus Stalker with no Forge. And I think that's probably the correct call for now. I think Forge goes down probably at about 7.5 minutes. And I know that sounds very late, and it is, but I think Nightmare's kind of just... He's got to cut something out of his build, or he'll be a bit too exposed. Oof. Oh, good pull-aways. Goes back to slightly early, it felt like. Gonna lose a few probes. Guys, if you're not gonna pull off gas and pull everyone away, you do need to... You need to just not pull away and just sit there and tank it and lose 4 probes, I feel like. That's always one of those things. Sometimes I see people pull away, but they leave 3 workers on gas in range, and the auto turret still gets 3 kills. And I'm like, why'd we even pull away, man? I feel like you could have just sat there and it'd be the same. Marines pulling back. One of them does go down. Nightmare. At least we'll have a bit of a respite from the Raven. He's going to do the trigger. The trigger is where you refuse to build shield batteries, even though you know that the Raven's there. No, he does it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I think as long as the Raven doesn't throw the auto turret down immediately, that battery should be finished just in time. Oh, the Stalkers are actually hoping to catch this exact move. He thinks the Stalkers are out here. Nightmare wants to flank them and catch them. But losing 2 adapts, nowhere near as bad as losing those Stalkers. Clever movement for Nightmare. 2 Marines go down. Second Colossus is on the way. Extended Thermal Lance is going to be there to add +2 range to those big boys' laser beams. Going to be done in about a minute. 4th and 5th Barracks. About 2/3 done. 3rd Command Center finishing. Kua chilling for the moment. I think Kua absolutely should be barreling across this map, at least to the halfway point. Just looking to scan observers and looking to scare Nightmare. Now, Nightmare did see a medevac move out. Did he notice it? If these Stalkers immediately go to the top right, then yes. I think he saw it. I think he might be a little... Ooh, let's see if Kua's watching. Kua's got boost ready, but he's too slow. And that's a 2-shot. Very nice. 10 supply down. Beautiful pickup for Nightmare. He's got a 4th Nexus. And that Forge went down. 745. Watch out for the Widow Mine. Ooh, okay. He's got to get out. He does get a Widow Mine. Observer will fall. That's the 3rd Colossus. I mean, I really think Nightmare's done a good job of getting back in this game. It does feel like Kua is playing a bit of a passive style. He's going to go Tech Lab Reactor. Now, the thing that worries me about Kua playing this style is last time I was casting him playing a bunch of games against Max Packs. And I think his early game looked tight. His pushes, when he did commit to them, looked pretty good. And his Turtle late game looked abysmal. I know that's a harsh word, but I really don't know how else to describe it. His Turtle game was not up to snuff. In this game, he's still ahead. He's still in a good spot. And he could still do a big 3-base push. But he's building a 4th command center. And what I'm really looking for is for him to shut down Warp Prisms a bit harder and to just be a little bit better at guarding his tanks. One of the big things he messed up on. The Forge went down at 727, actually. You were closer than you thought. Oh, that was the second Forge I was looking at. Oh, okay. Dude, I was almost spot on. What can I say, guys? That's the minigame I play when I'm casting, is just trying to guess things based off of what I see. I mean, it made sense. Obviously, I kind of understood what he was aiming for. Speaking of which, top right corner base. That's a cute one. That face is very fun. Kind of hoping Terran doesn't even notice it's there. He's going to go for Disruptors. Disruptors have come back into the meta. He's going to go to 10 gateways. But yeah, one of the big things is he was building a lot of siege tanks when Kua was playing those games against Max Packs, and he wasn't guarding them. So he'd let Zealots just charge on top. This time, he's only got 2 tanks. It's more of a classic Bio Viking play. He's got Ghost coming in, 1-1 upgrades. He's going to go to 2-2. He's just going to try and play the classic Bio Viking Ghost, which is pretty solid. I do think it's very hard in late game to play that style. I think it's a bit more fragile than, say, if you have range libs or tanks or something anchoring your position. But Clem does make this composition in late game look imbalanced. And the rule when Clem's playing is if Terran makes it to 2-2, maxed out Ghost Viking lib, then Protoss literally has no win condition. But that's when Clem's controlling the units. No other Terran has found anywhere near that consistency at that stage. They're still favored there, since the Vikings are 25 minerals cheaper, the Ghosts 25 more hit points this patch. We'll see how it works. No Storm, of course. It's just Colossus into Disruptors. 3 more gateways, so 14 gateways. 78 workers. The fact is, Nightmare's not really being able to put any damage or pressure on Kua. He's going to need to dig for some mistakes. No bank advantage, no worker advantage. Kua is a rich boy. I do think Kua should have more turrets. Like, that does not stop a Prism coming in. You need another turret behind it, and you should have a few turrets here. He's rich and he's maxed. And I think making sure turrets can't get in your base is absolutely crucial. 9 Vikings against 3 Colossus. I think about 10 or 11 Vikings just to make sure you can shut down the Colossus is probably better. And he does get to 11 now. 2 more Vikings just popped out. Ghost count's only at 4. There is an argument in this situation behind just killing a few of your own Marauders. Raven goes for the triple auto turret. We'll get 3 probes. Not much else. He's going to F2 it home to its death. Says, I'm done with this. Stargate's on the way as well as a Dark Shrine. Nightmare does want to play a late game transition. Zealot's found 1 SCV. They will go down now. Oh, he blinks across the depot, which means those 7 Stalkers luckily do get busted out by the other units blowing up the depot that was behind them. Few Zealots running the natural. A good attempt to kind of pull Kua out of position. Very cautious with his Colossus, though. He doesn't want to let the Vikings catch those. I think if he's going to play Stargate, he has to add Storm. I'm not sure if Nightmare does play late game Storm style though. A lot of Protoss players are very reticent to add Storm because of the ghosts, but we know that Storm is essentially an insurance tool to stop the Terran just diving on your position. You can do it with Disruptors. The problem is the Disruptors can't deal with the Vikings. Storm damages Vikings medevacs as well as ground units, and just a 2 or 3 High Templar backing up your army coming from the sides is really hard for the Terran to consistently EMP. He did build more turrets on the top, but he still didn't build turrets on the right side of that natural, which is a mistake for Cure. That's the Prism inside. Nightmare trying to find a way in. I would have loved to see him blink forward and try to focus that command center. Does get a massive Disruptor shot, though. Cure's got to watch out. The distraction in the main base is really hurting him. Ooh, good ball dodges, though. Really good ball dodges. Zealots in the main doing some good damage. Fusion Core is going to go down. Units lost tab here. It's actually looking fantastic for Nightmare. And as I said, Cure's ability to stop Warp Prisms is the thing I was really looking for him to improve in this game from the last time I saw him play late game. Once again, he lets a Prism into his main base. You can't be letting them distract you like that, because when you're distracted, that's when the Disruptors will land. That's when you'll eat the Psy Storms. That's when the Time Warp will get on your army and you won't pull out of it immediately. Definitely needs a few turrets speckled across there. Second turret on this left side as well to stop the Prism going past. Good Disruptor shots, but the Disruptors are caught in the open. The rest of the army a bit slow to get down there. That was sloppy for Nightmare, who's only playing double Robo. This stage, he should have 3 Robos so that he can instantly reproduce. Why has PvT become so stale now that nothing happens between 8 and 13 minutes? Oh, it hasn't. No. So what happened in this game is Cure destroyed Nightmare in the early game. Nightmare got a few wins so that it wasn't super easy for Cure to just go win the game. And basically Nightmare had to just like try and tech up and survive. And Cure decided going to late game was his best chance of winning. So he's just playing very turtily against a Nightmare who normally would have pushed a lot harder earlier. But because he was behind, he wasn't able to start pushing until quite late. So it's just kind of a weird matchup we've run into here. Now, don't get me wrong. There are definitely many times where Clem will purposely turtle to late game, but it's because Terran is a little unfavored in the mid game. Some would say very unfavored, like Protoss is very favored there. Terran's very favored in the late game, which is why they'd love to push it to the later stage, but they've got to dodge the balls, man. The Libs took a while to go down. More Disruptors rallying in. These Disruptor shots are getting pretty good shots off. The Colossus is still there, but they need to shoot the Bio, not the Planetary, and I think Nightmare's messed up his positioning a little bit there. He couldn't decide which direction. Did he want to pull back to the left or the right? He got stuck around the terrain a little bit. That does cost him a fair bit. More Zealots do come in on the reinforce. Units lost tab, though. 4,400 in favor of Cure. If you can keep Cure on these 5 bases while continuing to mine out all the others, you might be able to do it, but trading that negatively, you got to be careful on it. And he's still pretty low on gas. Just, I think, was it 6 gases maybe? 7 gases in total, but with the main base about to mine out, that's not the highest count. Of course, Nightmare is mostly just going double Robo Disruptor and Mass Zealots with a handful of Stalkers. So it is his minerals that's the issue right now. And Cure's had an easy path to this late game. It hasn't looked as dominant as I thought he might from the position he was in. But now that he's sealing that hole with the turret, he still hasn't stopped. I mean, his Speed Prism can fly directly over this turret and easily get in his main. I think he's leaving opportunities for Nightmare to distract him. But Nightmare is not adding Storm. Now, you'll notice Nightmare built a Stargate, but he didn't build a Mothership or a Fleet Beacon. I think this was just in case the Liberator got behind, so he could deal with that with a Void Ray or Phoenix. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out! Don't walk down there! A couple of Force Fields could have helped. You could only really reliably use Guardian Shield later on, because you have to get quite close to cast Force Field. So it's one of those things where you just kind of always want to have 1 Guardian Shield boy in the army. Maybe 2. But that way you can activate it just before they get in range of the EMP. And it'll still give you a good, 10 seconds or so of -2 on all of those ranged attacks. Which is especially impactful for Vikings. Because Vikings, for those who don't know, they have 2 attacks. Which means the Guardian Shield is knocking 4 off each time a Viking attacks. Which is pretty big for those Colossus. Oh gosh, he's out in the open. Oh no. And there's no Storm, which means he can't stop the Libs. If you don't go Storm and you let him push across the map, the Libs can easily zone you. Q is going to take control now. DT's in the north. Are going to come in. Probe's trying to run away. Wise choice for Nightmare to go for a bit of a base trade, but look how quickly Q is pulling back. Q will lose an orbital. Oh, DTs are getting on top. Oh, good reaction by Q. Lands some nice EMPs. Remember, Dark Templars are almost purely shields. So you land an EMP on them and they've only got 40 hit points. Oh, disruptor shots are landing on some of the SCVs, but dude, the libs! Oh man, the libs! Absolutely annihilate that army. And without Sidestorm, you cannot deal with this army. The whole point of Sidestorm, like I said, is when they fly around with the libs, you can drop storms on them and they can't just like jump on you. It zones their army and forces the Terran to move around a lot slower and a lot more methodically. Killer's in a massive advantage in this game, guys. Nightmare. Catching him not looking for a moment. He's looking to blink away when the scan comes in. Does get EMP'd and loses 1 or 2 DTs. A couple snipes going down as well. Cute move, though. Stalker's recall to the top right. Not sure if they can defend that on their own. Stalkers on this side, not enough to deal with the planetary. Nightmare brings some zealots up. He's going to try and use his multitasking to take care of this, but Cure is a rich boy with a lot of advantages right now. I didn't know Dark Templar could blink. Welcome! Dark Templar have been able to blink for about, what, 7 years now? I think 2018, 2019 maybe? They added that. One of the last official Blizzard patches before the community patch period. Ooh, nice disruptor shot. The Nexus going down and Cure is far, far ahead. It's quite a long upgrade on the Dark Shrine. But actually, I think maybe 2018 they added that, because I remember SOS doing some amazing builds. I was playing Blink DT openings, copying SOS versus, was it Ryung? On Blackpink, one of Avex's old maps, where he literally had a pylon across the gap of the natural, warp DTs into the natural, and was also using hallucinations to blink them up the cliff into the main base of the Terran base constantly. It was one of the most hilarious builds I've ever seen. Q is all over this game, guys. 10,000 ahead in the units lost. With no Psystorm and no progression to the tech, whilst being down in bank, there's not really much Nightmare can do here other than hope that Q walks into your massive disruptors. How you pressure him enough to try to get those mistakes, though, I do not know. Killing the orbitals, very good move. There's only 5 orbitals after sniping that one. That's an excellent move, but Q is going to run in and, of course, kill your bases as well. Libs there as well. Ooh, gets a few of these libs. Very nice. Chat's pointing out that Nightmare, back on one of the dream pools on Overgrowth, actually made a Blink Dark Templar charge lot 2 base push famous in GSL. I can't remember who he did that to, but one of the Korean Terrans he got with, yeah. So basically the Terran moved out, Zealots charged from the front, and the DTs blinked behind the army so he couldn't start a step backwards. And it was a very, very slick all-in. SOS's was actually just a macro build, and he did that first, but I think, or was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure SOS did that first. I think Nightmare's one came a little bit later. I could be getting the order wrong, but it was cool because SOS's was much more of a macro build, whereas where it was just trying to screw with you, whereas Nightmare's was a very specific 2-base all-in, which was really hard hitting. He does take out a few bases, but look at that. Oh, he's surrounded! Cure comes back, the balls are flying, they're not really landing in the biggest way, and that entire army is going to go down. Cure does dodge those last few balls, forces him back for a moment. You know when you're retreating past planetary fortress fire, things have gone horribly awry. Nightmare blundering at the start of the game, losing 4 probes. He had a few good moments after that, but at the end of the day, Cure was just too far ahead from that early game, and Nightmare cannot afford mistakes like that going into the map 2. Alright guys, Nightmare in the top right side of the map, going for a proxy 2-gate. And I think this is the right decision. I think when you're down, you need to take risks. You cannot afford to play super safe. We've seen a lot of top Protoss players like Hero win big maps, big series with this sort of build order recently, and I love seeing Nightmare mix it in. 2-gate proxy, very hard to stop. Q is playing double gas. But the problem with double gas like this, if you don't SCV scout, is often you are just kind of like, oh, I'm double gas. I'm going to go factory, command center on the high ground. I'm safe versus everything. But then if a few stalkers run up this ramp, a few zealots, those depots get torn down real quick. And if you don't have a bunker up, it is an absolute nightmare to defend. Now, if he finds this, it's great. Problem, if he rallies a Reaper through the middle of the map. Actually, I think, do you just go straight away with the zealots, guys? Does it hit fast enough to just go with the zealots? Or do you try to hide them, wait for the Reaper to run past, and then go for it? I think the Reaper often scouts for proxies down here and up here to the left anyway. But this is, I've seen other people proxy here recently. Oh, he's just going to go forwards. Oh my god, a Nightmare knows the timing, right? If he clicks his zealots forward now, it's perfect. Yeah, he's waiting. He doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't know if the Reaper's looking around. And I think he's just waiting for the Stalkers, and he'll go soon. Probe's going to hide as well because he knows the Reaper might come in. He sees no Nexus. Command Center gets cancelled. Bunker goes up on the high ground. He's got 2 Reapers and a Marine building. Thankfully, he didn't build a reactor. If he built a reactor, he was dead because the reactor would die so quickly. He's going to quickly lift the barracks to wall off. He's got to try and defend. Q needs to pull extra SCVs. He needs that bunker to get up. But the Stalkers are already there. And that means the depot's in trouble, as is the bunker. The bunker taking big damage. The Reaper gets pushed back. The SCVs that are trying to build there in trouble. SCVs repairing. He needs an SCV on the bunker. Q's Widow Mine. It fires on the Zealot. That is not what you want the Widow Mine to fire on. You want it to focus on the Stalkers. He could have bought himself a lot more time if he did that. The SCVs pull back. The bunker once again gets killed. Reaper's almost dead. Q, though, he is keeping himself alive for now. He's taking a lot of damage, but he will survive. Is this too much damage, though? Because honestly, there's not much DPS. It's 1 Marine, 2 Reapers. The Stalkers and the Zealot are going to pick off a few more of these SCVs. Another one does go down. Losing the Zealot's not a problem. And guess what? You can now use the Adept Shade. You put your Stalkers here on hold position. Send the Adept Shades. You can still pick off that depot. I do think it's better if you're actually on the other side of the map because you get better access to these depots. On this side, you're blocked a bit more by this area. And the bunker's covering the more exposed side there. But he's going to send the Shade every now and then to try and get that damage. Cure, of course. Oh, watch out. You're going to lose the Widow Mine. Oh, that's a bummer. Should have been more careful on the timing of that Widow Mine. Should have waited for a Shade to finish and then ran in and burrowed. Cyclone is here, though, so Cure will hold on. He's on 20 workers, and surely there's defense at home. Indeed, there is. He's got a shield battery and, of course, a recall available. The Probe's just going to ignore those Reapers. Oh, he's going to get a probe with the grenade. That was actually really cute. If he bounces them out of shield battery range, he can get some kills. If he does that again, he might get another one. So, guys, how bad is Q's position? He's stuck. He's 1 base all inning. He's going to go Cloak Banshee into 1 base Marine Tank Banshee. Slick all in. Energy Recharge comes in. The Adept does beat 2 Reapers, and we'll push him away. But only 1 probe going down. Not too bad. He's only lost 2 Zealots. If you can keep these 2 gateways alive a bit longer, that's good because that's part of your production. But Nightmare has no idea what's happening. This is always the problem here, is if the Terran's crazy enough to commit to something like this and just go, screw it, you're not going to expect an all-in. It's very easy to be thinking, okay, you know, he's going to be on like 30 workers. I need to get to 50 workers, and then I can build lots of units and tech. It's like, no, dude, you can cut probes at like 35. You literally just need to build another gateway, make Immortals, non-stop make Stalkers, which he is doing an excellent job of, and just keep that control at the front. And I think chronoing Blink is the exact correct decision. The fact that he's got a Robo to deal with the Banshee is also massive. The Reapers still haven't found the gateway, by the way. QS should know about this spot. We've seen a few high-profile matches where it got proxied here recently. He's still... Oh my god, he scouted everywhere, but... Dude, that's hilarious. Q was like, where the hell is your proxy, man? Banshee does sneak across the map. And the Observer has not started. There we go. Starts up now. It's going to pop at a good time. As long as he recalls Stalkers quickly, I think Nightmare's okay. But there's going to be a 2-tank Marine Cyclone move out. And he's going to pull 10 SCVs with this as well. At least 5, probably 10. This isn't all in. And Q distracts with the Banshee and then shoves the front at the same time. He says, you got to deal with that. Don't lose the Banshee, though. He's going to go forward. The Stalker Micro is pretty good here for Nightmare. He does lose 4 probes at home. Quick Stalker warp in, and look at that. Wow, so good on the defense. The Banshee goes down. He's lost only 1 Stalker so far. One of these Stalkers is deep in the red, and he doesn't have an Observer, which means no way to deal with this Banshee right now. How many SCVs is it, guys? Looks like just a 7. 7 SCVs there. It's a decent pull. He's going to try and repair the Banshee as best he can. He sees the gateways, and I think wisely stopping to depower those. Yeah, I don't think you stay here, though. I think you got to keep going. You are 1 base all inning. I think you got to go, man. There's 2 gateways at home and 1 Robo now. But Immortals are building. There's 12 Stalkers. I think as long as he's got an Observer here, he can start chipping away at this. He forces a siege, pulls back. Excellent pullback. And he's going to try and maybe go for... I think Nightmare should just engage now. He's letting him get awfully close to his base. No, Nightmare waited way too long to go for it. He blinks forward, but he was so far away when he made the decision. Bad decision to go in there for Nightmare. He should have been much closer. If he was going to make that decision, he could have made it much quicker. He had the Observer for vision. No excuse for engaging so late. And is he going to be able to hold it? It's going to be so close. Q has got the repair on the Banshees. The tank sieging up. I felt like Nightmare should have been able to hold this, but he threw away so many Stalkers with blinking from so far away, man. He should have been engaging closer to it. Having the Observer for vision is such a big advantage here. The fact that Kua does not realize there's an observer is a huge mistake for him. He absolutely should have scanned this observer by now, but he hasn't. Nightmare's going to wait for the third Immortal. As it pops, he goes for it. He rallies the Immortal onto the tank. The Stalkers blink forward. They get after the Banshees. Number one Banshee goes down. The Immortals take care of the tanks. Great focus fire. I think Nightmare's going to hold it. He had such a good start, and he should just barely be able to take care of this. The bunker, the Marines, the Banshees, all getting pushed back. Just enough Stalker Warpins to hold, and he doesn't even need to pull probes. Nightmare. Oh, gives us all the nightmares. Made my heart jump into my throat there. A bit of an awkward blink at one moment, but almost everything else he did was near perfect, so credit where it's due. Sick opening, great pressure for Nightmare. Alright guys, Nightmare in the top left side of the map. He's going to force a game 3 here. Off of that cheesy opening, going to give Kua a little bit more to be worried about. Don't mean to overemphasize the big mistake for Nightmare. I was cheering for him because I really wanted to see a game 3 here. Nightmare had such a clutch qualification for this tournament. I mean, reversaling Rogue is just such a crazy performance, and I really didn't want to see him going out 0-4 in such kind of brutal one-sided fashion. So really happy he's getting to a game 3, and I'd kind of love, you know, Nightmare to come through and actually make it out of this group despite dropping the first PvP to Hero. I think it's very possible against all these players. Nightmare absolutely can progress. And hats off to Nightmare for instantly not recalling Stalkers. If he'd recalled his Stalkers, that push would have hit a lot harder. Good point from Twitch chat. They're saying if he recalled his Stalkers, the push would have got across the map way easier. And that's a very good point. Actually, just warping in... I mean, if he didn't have warp-ins available, he would have had to, of course. But because he had warp-ins available, he just crisply warped in 3 Stalkers, used them in the Observer to shut down the Banshee, only lost 4 probes. It was near perfect. Yep, this is a 3-player map, guys. Mothership. So you can see there's an empty player spawn down here, which means there's about 1 million bases in the late game. So someone was pointing out this map's really good for Protoss against Terran late game because you have so many bases you can expand to while you're swarming the Terran. I think, was this the map, guys, where Clem and Maru had a sick late game? Was it this map or Old Republic? I can't remember. I remember Clem and Maru had an amazing late game PvT, and I think it was this map. And yeah, I remember people were telling me they're like, this map's great for Protoss versus Terran in late game, and I was like, well, why? Like, I don't think it's that good. Like, the bases are a little spread out, but I think it's fine for Terran to turtle on 4 or 5 bases. And then they pointed out, well, on this map, you just have so many extra bases to mine from, and that's one of the big constraints for Protoss later on. And same with Zerg against Terran as well. And I was like, oh, makes sense. There's so many little details in StarCraft, aren't there? Yep, the players don't know where the other guy starts. So you will often see players scout through the middle. Luckily, Nightmare scouted in the right direction earlier. And Kua has guessed correctly and gone to this left side. Probably surmised from where he saw the probe come from. Or the hallucination. 2 Reapers and Alien are going to run in, guys. Is there only 1 sentry? Already 1 probe goes down. Sorry for the bad observing there. Oh. Oh, this is... Was this a Nexus before core, guys? It had to be, right? How did he only have 2 gateway units? Oh, he's going to 3 pylon wall here because there's more Reapers and Aliens coming in. Ooh, I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, obviously, he's going to cancel 2 of those. I wonder, is that the right call? Hellions will come in. He's not probe producing from the natural. Nightmare's just like, I just need units. Waiting for Warp Gate, cancels 2 of those pylons as we expected. And it's a pretty uneconomic opening for QA. His command center is just now morphing into an orbital. You can afford to be off mining for a little bit here, but Nightmare has missed a lot of probe production. And those Reapers are now in. Stalker's a little bit slow to react. It's going to lose 4 more probes on top of the one that already went down. It's 5 probes in total. Make it 6, 7 in total, and a sentry. Excellent start. I mean, it was 4 Reapers, to be fair, guys. This was the early reactor, right? 4 Reapers is a massive commitment. But I think it's found the mark. I think you're very happy with that because these aliens can come back in and be annoying later. 2-gate blink is now going. Whoever loses here is indeed out of the tournament, guys. Winner will face the loser of Hero and REYNOR. That final match. 2 best-of-5s after this. Hero versus REYNOR, and then final decider. Raven's coming in, a few more Marines as well. Command Center is mining. Nightmare's regaining the worker lead. He will take a third base just before 5 minutes. Both players are slowed down in this game. And as much as I think the damage really gives Cure a massive boost, I don't think it's game ending. I think that Nightmare has shown he is very good at playing from behind. And in fact, I used to make fun of Nightmare for like just never building many probes and still being very dangerous in this matchup. Really clutch it at actually winning fights. So even when he's even or down on workers against Terran, he's very capable of winning fights. But that was a good trade again. Mining time and 4 probes for the Hellions. Q is so happy with this. And he just has all the comfort now. He's like, okay, I got my wall off here. We can chill. Now, if these Stalkers had an Observer or Hallucination, they could blink in. Kill that depot for free would be nice. But he doesn't have any of that high ground vision for now. Third gas coming in. I think Nightmare's going to try and play very bare bones on the gas, realizing it's been a rough start. Just put the 3 workers on the gas. Rally onto the minerals on this and see what you can get done. Is everything played today? For this group, yes. Obviously, this is just Group C today. Group D will be tomorrow. And then next week, Thursday, we've got our show matches with Serral and Mana, which you guys can be a part of as the audience, which will be a lot of fun. Not playing against each other, but playing against you guys, which will be very fun. Raven coming in for the scout. Oh, he's going to get the sentry. Oh my gosh, Cure, you bully. It's a sentry and a probe. Not bad. Raven's got to fly away. Remember, guys, you can't fly past the shields. This is essentially an anti-flyer wall around these edges. So it looks like there's a lot of dead space in the corners, but there is not. That's an area you can't get to. Next week, the playoffs is all going to be best of 7s and best of 9s, guys. It will be 3 days of just so many epic games. It should be fantastic. Templar Archives is coming in, so he's going to be trying to play Storm, but it's not going to be an early one. And I do think Nightmare just surviving past this next stage with just a handful of Zealot Stalker will be difficult. He does have 7 gateways, though, and he sees the double drop. Oh, Cure, no, not like this. Cure, no, not like this. Oh, Nightmare could just run in, focus a medevac, and maybe blink away here. Get some Marauder and a Marine. Oh, really good micro. Oh, Nightmare, really good micro, but some of his Stalkers do go back into fight. Oh, other units come from the south. He stayed a bit too long there. Oh, he does pay a hefty price for that. What started as a really good trade, he loses 2. Actually, it's only 2 Stalkers. It's fine. Zealots are ready, but I don't think this is a good Zealot attack. Unless he sees the army pushing, and the army isn't pushing, so the Zealots are just going to go away. No concussive shells yet. So he gets himself 2 Marines with the charges, runs away. And now Storm and Prism are coming in behind. Beautiful controlling play for Nightmare. He's kind of put Cure in timeout in his corner of the map. Starts a 4th Nexus. Goes for Storm. I really feel that's so excellent. Just, I don't think he can break him here. Because he is down 14 army supply, and shields and +1 have now finished for Terran. Almost gets the Widow Mine, but not quite. Scan does catch the Observer. You target a Widow Mine that's already burrowed, and you could see the Stalker shot still hit it, even after it completed the burrow. He knew there must be an Observer in vision. Is Cure expected to win this series? Nightmare's one of our big underdogs. He came in through the qualifiers, whilst Cure was an invite to the tournament. That is why you'd expect Cure to win, but remember that Nightmare blocked Rogue with a reversal in the qualifiers. And in general has been playing at very good form recently. Yeah. Expanding away from the Terran, trying to make it as hard to push as possible. Expand towards the Terran makes it a bit easier for him to get to you, especially when you're playing a very mobile Zealot Storm style. You want as much space between you and the Terran as possible. Raven seeing everything. I really don't like that Raven gets to see it. I feel like there should just be a single Stalker. I just don't think that, you know, letting a Raven just fly around your base, even if it doesn't have much energy, is I do think a mistake. Oh! Not a bad Storm drop. Good pull away for Cure. Sends Marauders. It's funny because it's the Marines that actually can kill the Prism, but problem is the Marines are weak to Storm, so he just says, hey, get rid of the High Templar, make him pick up. New Observer arrives on the front. +1 armor's coming in. Do we see a second eBay armory? Yes, we do. The Ghosts are now rallying out of those barracks. Such a useful addition to the army. You can see here a third one comes out from the natural. Storm's looking ready. Double Forge, second Robo Colossus, and a fifth Nexus on the way. Nightmare's kind of waiting for Cure to make a mistake, and I think this command center going out is your opportunity. If Nightmare does a big Stalker warp in, if he can get like 6 more Stalkers, save his money for that, I think what he could do is run forward, blink on the command center, and focus it while he just zones the army with Storm. Here we go. Big Storm potentially coming in there. Oh, the Widowmine gets a big juicy, though. I think Nightmare, a little cautious here, doesn't want to throw his army away right when he's going to double Forge Colossus. Whoa, that Prism. Warping it in a very dangerous spot, man. A Viking or 2 to zone this Prism out would be massive. 2 Vikings are arriving. I think Nightmare needs to back off, though. At least the EMPs miss. Not very good EMPs there for Cure, right? Completely whiffed. I absolutely agree. Twitch chat says he should break these rocks. I think you're 100% correct. Anything that allows you to freely move between these bases and attack different angles is going to favor you. Nightmare has the same idea. Maybe should have got to work on these a bit earlier. Be careful with that Prism. The Vikings coming forward. Nice EMP on the sentry. But he's got a lot of ghosts. I was going to say he's got to be careful with his ghost energy, but I think he's got plenty. Look at that. A lot of High Templar up north as well. Ravens being a bag of Ds. 2-2s on the way for both sides. Protoss is a little bit ahead. 4 more gateways coming in, so it's going to be 12 gateways. Also going up to 8 gases. 5th Nexus is mining. Nightmare's going to stay on 76 workers, but the problem is Cure is once again maxed out with more bank, and that is a situation you never want to be in as Protoss. Cure just needs to survive. Nightmare needs to get something done. He loses the Prism. An EMP and 4 Viking shots kill the Prism with 4 High Templar inside. Oh, an absolute disaster for Nightmare. He's going to continue attacking forwards. He doesn't quite get EMPs until a bit too late there. The Storms do land, but that was an absolute throwaway of the army there. Nightmare, when that Prism went down, you could tell it broke him inside. He knew that was such a crucial part of his army. He doesn't have faith in winning the long game against a guy as good as Cure, and he tried to force it, but that was the worst possible start to a fight. 6,000 resources lost. More for the Protoss than the Terran. And it was already not looking good for him, but now Cure calmly going to add sensor towers, more command centers, and run away with this game. Fusion Core on the way as well. Feels like Nightmare doesn't have too much he can do here. Colossus are coming into this way too late. Warping a few Zealots down south. I mean, Cure did get a bit excited in the previous game and moved out a few times. There is both Colossus and Storm. I just think this should be Disruptors, not Colossus. With how many Vikings there are, it feels like committing to Colossus here is basically committing to a dead-end tech. Doesn't have many High Templar either. He's got 5, but only 1 here. Needs to use a Storm to zone this army back. Can't be letting himself get bullied too far away. Double drop. Branches off to the south. Prism gets in the main. Ooh, I like that. No units in production because he's maxed out. So, can't really deal with this. But, oh, Nightmare's not watching. Kill some add-ons. Kill some buildings. If he could get the starport reactors, that'd be nice. Try and get some value before the army gets back, you know? Sometimes you don't expect the units to be so stupid. They just sit there. Prism does go down. Double drop in the south. Looks like, did he cancel a Nexus? Might have cancelled a Nexus, but he loses both drops. Good trade for Nightmare. Nightmare's going +3 attack and +3 armor. Terran's a little ahead on those upgrades now. A few Zealots did just get recalled. See a few of them. 3 Zealots got recalled out of the main. Oh, man. I am... that fight was so bad for Nightmare, dude. But, I mean, this comes back to the early game, right? Did he go Nexus before Core, guys? Because I just can't imagine him only having a sentry when those first Reapers ran in. And no shield battery. I feel like there should have been a shield battery in this early game for Nightmare. Taking that big damage early, Game 1 and Game 3, is just so tragic. Feedback's going down, the Ghosts. Feedback usage, very nice. Good zoning, Storm. A giant army down to the right side. He doesn't want to bring those Colossus in unless he can wound the Vikings first. High Templar coming in with full energy on the right side. Another Storm here would be excellent. Should be able to focus the Command Center down if he just clicks his Stalkers on it, maybe. Another Storm goes down on the tanks and the Ghost. The Colossus. Gotta be careful about going too far forward, though. And he doesn't have any Storm left, which means his army's very exposed. The Stalkers need to be blinking on the Command Center. Remember, there's plenty of bases for Nightmare to take the longer this goes in the south and middle of this map. There is a chance here. Q's just lost a lot of army and a Command Center. It's a big A-move force. No Storm. It's just A-move units. 2-2 against 2-2. The Vikings go forward. The Stalkers will clean up those Vikings pretty quickly, though. The Zealot Archon trading. I think Nightmare's got to fade away. The Zealots are getting cleared up. You do not want to lose the Stalkers. If he has another High Templar, that'd be great, but he's not building High Templar. He's just building nothing but Zealots right now. Nightmare's getting excited. If he rebuilds his High Templar, scatters them around again, and takes another base or two, and just keeps doing this, I think he can wear him down. Because Cure has not looked perfect in the late game control. He makes a lot more mistakes than a Clem. But Nightmare, the moment he gets overeager, he's like, I'm just making Zealots now, and forgets about Psystorm, like in game 1. That's really bad. The most important thing after a fight like that is to make 4 High Templar, energy recharge 1, bring him back to the front. But a lot of players forget High Templar exists in the late game. He finally does remember, puts him inside the prism. Is Nightmare supposed to transition to air toss? No. You can try to go air toss, but if you do that, you need to get mass cannon battery out here with it, and a ton of High Templars spread around it. And that's very hard to get up when you're down in bank. Right now, he's just got to try and win these fights off the back of feedback and Storm Micro. He's going to go for it. Got to be careful. The High Templar dodged some EMPs very nicely, but he eats some EMPs right afterwards, and those libs add some massive damage. He needs a zoning Storm to cover his retreat. He's just got the energy for it. He does have the energy for it. I'd love a Storm, but I think it might be the last guy to unload if he does unload there. Bioarmy, Vikings chasing, Colossus in the open. Doesn't want to stim again, knowing he'll put his army in a bit of jeopardy. Watch out for the Prism. 2 High Templar do morph into an Archon. It's 10 ghosts. So many EMPs, and the lib control over that ramp will be deadly. Prism pulling back. Vikings bullying right now. He needs some Storms. EMPs land. The Archon has to morph. Colossus pop out. He's going to go from both sides. But the libs are going to absolutely butcher. Stalkers try to blink on the right side, and those guys do derp out a fair bit. You can see the Colossus in the top left going down as well. Cure all over this fight. 10,000 resources ahead in a game where he was also ahead in the bank for most of this game. And that is a GG well played. I think Cure here playing a bit too solid and just getting too many advantages early on. This matchup, usually Protoss success rests on mid-game dominance. Nightmare was consistently going to the mid-game from behind. The only one he wasn't was game 2. Where Cure was doing that desperate one base all in after the proxy gate opening, and if you lose the early game as bad as Nightmare did in game 1 and game 3, it's a tough ask. It's an uphill battle. It's going to be really unfortunate because he didn't get to play late game or even mid game from an even footing, and that sucks for him. But it is Cure. He's one of the best, most consistent TVP players in the world, and he of course is no surprise for him to win here. Oh, Zealot Stalker's there. Oh, watch out! Lib Siege up, though. We'll clean it up. He's going to try and recall there, but look at that. Those units getting shot down before they can even recall. They're recalling into Lib Marauder. That's going to be game over. Sucks for Nightmare, man. Nightmare had one of the most epic qualification runs to this event, and I really, really enjoyed that. His games. Unfortunately, he will be going out here. I'm just going to check his opening really quickly, guys. Barracks Gas. Was it Reactor first for Terran? I don't think it was. I think it was Reaper Reactor, right? Okay, it was Reactor first. So it was Reactor first, which hits a very similar Reaper timing as if you built 2 Reapers, but then the next ones are a little bit earlier. Protoss, on the other hand, did go Cybercore before Nexus. Starts an Adept, cancels it, and then builds the Sentry. Oh, that indecision hurts him, man. And doing that because he saw Reactor first. Oh, because he thought you're building 2 Marines. And he was thinking this could be, oh, you know what Nightmare thought, guys? So Nightmare sees the reactor. He thinks this might be a one base all in where he's going for a ton of Marines. It could be a 3 racks. I don't know what's happening. I better get a sentry to check. What's behind that wall off? But cancelling the Adept is bad. No shield battery is bad. And he ends up here taking a lot of damage to these early Reapers. He sends out the hallucination. Reaper comes in. And then the second Reaper and a Hellion here. And he's just got the Stalker out. He misses his force field. Oh, at least if he didn't miss the force field, he wouldn't have lost the sentry and the second probe. But then you lose one of your 2 gateway units early, which is a good part of your damage. You lose an extra probe. You can't build probes off your Nexus for a while. And you've got to build 3 extra pylons that you wouldn't normally want to invest in. Oh, this is just a disastrous opening this early, man. GG, well played. Cure wins it with some nice early pressure.